This is their plan, people. These are demons. Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said. It's what they warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' human.
What is going on, guys, gals, aliens, and degen freaks? Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. Welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome to the beginning of the week in these volatile times in crypto. We're going to bring you some of the most recent news. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about Brics. We're going to talk about Vitalik and the claims that he's been dumping and selling ETH. We're going to see if we can get to the bottom of that. We're going to get into the Bitcoin volatility and why we've been hovering around this range and what it means for the next couple months. Is September going to be bearish or is it going to be bullish? And we're going to get into those numbers. We're going to get into the metrics. We're going to get into a chart that we actually made a video on. We're going to keep analyzing that. If you are new to these crypto cycles, this is a great chart and metric to follow for when we are going to see the biggest parabolic moves and when you should be DCAing into the markets and DCAing out. But I hope you got a good laugh at this clip. This is usually how I end up sounding when just with one glass of water. It's Christmas. Please act normal at dinner today, and then me after one glass of water or one glass of sparkling champagne or something like that. You end up sounding like this.
And people, these are demons. Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said. It's what they warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' human.
And see, the thing is that people would laugh at that and they go, oh my gosh, this dude is insane. But you know what? He's kind of right. We've actually had this theory for some time now, and it's one of those things where you kind of laugh with that face like, because it's kind of true. But all right, guys, welcome to the channel. Make sure you are in the Discord. The Discord link is in the description of the video and also in the description of the channel. If you go to the channel, we're gonna get into this thing about Brics here. And a lot of other things here, but we want to analyze what this really actually means and how it all ties in to what is this theory that I'm starting to pull together. Is that there is so much debt with the U.S. dollar that the only way that we can pay it back is to de-dollarize, debase the dollar, and actually make the debt cheaper. So then that when countries or different entities are having to pay back this debt, to quote us, our own country having to pay for this debt, that it ends up being cheaper for the institutions to be able to pay this debt off by pennies on the dollar. And so does this mean that the countries that are actually going into Brics are protecting themselves from this connection with the U.S. dollar and the debt and the connection that all of these countries actually have with the U.S. dollar and why they're starting to support Brics? If you're not familiar with Brics, Brics is Brazil, Russia, and India, China, and South Africa. And so these countries banded together to make an alliance to create a currency called Brics that is backed by gold and also by other commodities and assets And primarily the one you want to pay attention to is that the fact that it is backed by gold. And now we have Turkey's bid to join BRICS. Turkey has formally requested to join the BRICS group as part of its strategy to diversify its alliances beyond traditional Western partners and enhance its global influence. This move reflects a broader geopolitical shift where President Tayyip Erdogan believes the center of geopolitical gravity is moving away from the Western economies. Okay, so this is why I think getting into things like Bitcoin and also gold and silver are actually going to be the things and the best hedge against the debasing of the United States dollar through these partnerships like this and countries going into forming alliances with BRICS, and they are going to end up using BRICS for possible global trade. Is it a move that is going to eventually get us to not want to hold cash going into 2025, 2026, and the next 4 years? It's going to be interesting because you got to think about how if Trump wins the election, I think that with his administration, they would want to strengthen the dollar, but by using the dollar to buy Bitcoin and have it part of the treasury instead of buying the treasury bonds and all of that other stuff that hasn't actually been working and what is ultimately bankrupt the country because of the way that there has been this government overspending. And so with certain types of legislation and the government actually doing a buy in of Bitcoin and actually trying to hold it as a reserve currency, this could battle the inevitable expansion of BRICS with the global influence and the economic alliances that have been are now starting to form against the U.S. dollar. So I'm curious, what do you guys think about this? I want to know your thoughts in the comments in the live section. Make sure you're leaving me your thoughts and get a conversation going, because I think this is a way that ultimately is what is going to happen. And we're going to go into this of why the government would be interested in just printing more money, because then ultimately they can, on the back end, pay off all of this debt on pennies on the dollar, and then ultimately try and transition the dollar into a digital dollar, a full digital dollar, which is actually what kind of goes into the thesis of this chart by Marty Party, where we have the U.S. election, a pump into the U.S. election, then we have a flat, a rejection, a retracement off that, then we pump going into Q1 of 2025 of the peak prices. And we'll get into this. We'll get into why this area is so important and a key metric for, taking some profits off the table when we start to get in the end of the year, past November, December. So basically from after the election going into the next 3 months is going to be key, because that is the end of the year cycle of where we have a Bitcoin halving, the 4-year cycle, also lining up with the presidential elections of the 4-year cycle. And this that recent video that I just made. If you guys did not catch that video, you should watch that video. It's really, honestly, I think it's one of the most important videos I've made this year to get you guys to start to think about those 4-year cycles. And that is where you're going to outperform everyone by analyzing these markets like this, because then you're getting not the exact time where you should be buying, and you're not getting the exact time where you should be selling, but you're getting a range, which is a really great strategy to play off of, is you just at least have a time frame range. You're not going to be 100%, but you'll be close. You'll be damn close, especially if you're DCAing and you're just holding for into that range. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. But check this out. On this chart, he says U.S. stable dollar legal tender going into August 2025. Now, why would the Fed end up doing this? Well, because of the fact that they know themselves that they are unable to fully track and track basically the negligence of this government overspending, and which they are the cause of. But then what is classic is that they present the problem, they create the problem, and then they come in as the solution. So this is what's so interesting and ironic about how our system is run, is that the system is creating the problems, and then they come in with a solution which they had caused. So would you trust someone to come in with a solution and they were the ones who caused and manipulated and fabricated the problem to begin with? I don't think so. You wouldn't. You would be like, no, we need a different oversight committee, please. You would be like, no, this isn't happening. So this is what is happening, is that the Fed is going to come in and say, we need to stabilize and go forth in this economy with a digital dollar, and the market's going to change. And I think that's when, and then there's a straight line going up to 200K. But it just shows that right now is the key time where people are either getting bored, there's fear in the market, there's a lot of this uncertainty of where the market's going to go. And it's so funny because there's always this uncertainty of where the market's going to go halfway through the hardest part of getting through a bull market cycle. And coming out of a bear market cycle where you have post-traumatic stress, you got all this stuff happening to you psychologically, you might have people's experiences are relative, of course, but we are all in this frame inside this system, and we're all getting affected by inflation. We're all getting affected by these worldly events in some way, shape, or form. We're all connected, and so you have to think about it that way. You have to think about the world in terms of everything is connected. So this is why there are these cycles. So what we think is going to happen, and yes, we could be wrong, but we analyzed this chart. Shout out to Max because BTC. He said there's so much noise out there right now, and I'm hoping that this chart can simplify things for you. And basically, it's a BTC chart. Almost said chart. A BTC chart. Basically, Bitcoin is doing a BTC chart right now, in terms of liquidity. But we could be getting, basically, I think maybe right now a short-term pump on Bitcoin. But we're gonna get into it. So with this BTC. Alongside the IWM, this Russell 2000 ETF, and then with the presidential election lined up with the 4-year cycle, first Bitcoin halving. Look at what happened. A year after the halving in the election, we had the biggest run in the bull market. Second BTC halving in the United States presidential election, the infamous one with the most famous one with Hillary and Donald Trump, the one that everyone thought that Hillary was just a shoo-in, and look at the market. And then this election, which is another one that was very controversial. This one right here, very controversial. A lot of people thought that the election was rigged. And I hope my channel doesn't get banned for me saying that. My channel's been banned before, and I never got a real answer why. And I was like, there's no way. I'm not speaking anything different than what a lot of channels are talking about. But for some reason, they were like, you're done, son. And I had to get it back. All right, so do you see a pattern here? I do. I definitely see a pattern here. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the red area, that's the pre-halving and pre-election correction. And then the orange area, risk assets grind upwards into the halving and election. And then in the green, you got risk rallies hard after the halving and election, because the whales in crypto, and now the institutions are a part of this, and the driving adoption of the price, and also the suppression of the price, to be honest, that this is a key metric of where you could see the run up. You could see the run up at its peak getting to, I think, 150,000 to 170,000 per Bitcoin from the range lows of going into September and bouncing off those range lows, which honestly, at this point, I don't know. I don't know what the range lows are going to be. I mean, is it going to magnetic price right back down to this $51,000 range? I mean, it would still be on the trend line. I mean, it could go to 53,000. I have this level marked as a key level, 53,000, of what we could potentially trade back down into. And then that could be the buying point, and so much buying pressure hits at that point that we do break back up to 70K off of that. And then we get another test and try and fight that $72,000 resistance that we had fought going up, ranging from these lows from January. Because January, you guys have to remember, is where we had the Bitcoin ETF hit the market. We had it hit the market, then we had it Bitcoin dump, and then from there we parabolic pumped to all-time highs from there. So this is so telling of what I think, to tie it in, to start now talking about Ethereum. We're going to start talking about Ethereum now, and tying it into Ethereum. Ethereum has an ETF, guys. And so with Ethereum having this ETF, and we've had the price consolidation going down, it's very similar of what I think is going to happen. Like what happened with Bitcoin is going to happen with Ethereum, where we have Ethereum just start to break up and go into all-time highs and start to move exactly like Bitcoin did in these times right here. You see, it had over a span from January all the way into March, and this was when we had also the dominance, interesting enough, go down, and we had an alt season. And so from this move from here to here and going into March in this year, we had a teaser altcoin season. And when that happened, we had things like Dogecoin. Dogecoin went up like 50-60% or something like that. Yeah, it went up like over 151% from February, from these lows, this range lows, and went all the way up to 22 cents. And then got a rejection off that 22 cents, and then things like Shiba Inu, AVAX pulled a run here as well. In March, had a really like mega green candle. I mean, basically, this was your opportunity right here in a lot of these altcoins, strong altcoins, even from the old cycle, to get up, to test up back into these ranges. I call it this is like tier 1 trading accumulation range, and then it gets up into the tier 2, the second stack of accumulation, or where you could essentially take profits and even still accumulate right here in the second tier range, because if you even accumulated even at an average price of the second range right here and traded it up and waited till this thing got into at least its old all-time highs, and this is on Phantom, that's a 230% move to the upside. I know it's not like a crazy gain, but it's a 3-4x with even buying at over $1. Now, it's under $1. It's actually middle range of its tier 1 accumulation range. A lot of altcoins are like this right now, and if you were to just DCA into these boring projects, into these boring things right now, that is a 700% move to the upside if it goes to the range highs of the all-time highs from the previous bull market. That was in November 2021 for altcoin season and altcoin run bull market last cycle. Now, we experienced that cycle, and we actually were one of the ones that, we didn't fully not take profits, but it was our first cycle of experiencing a mega run up and not understanding that like that doesn't last. Like it's just that's your opportunity when you are starting to hit parabolic prices like that you need to take profits. So we actually ended up round tripping a lot of our crypto bags into the bear market, and it is a hard lesson to learn, but I think a lot of the times this is what will happen to most people that get into crypto, is that they will round trip through these cycles, and until they learn something like this chart, then you will not be able to come out alive. Like you will be eaten up by the market. So this is why this is why we have a channel. This is why we're educating people. This is why we are educating ourselves and basically talking to ourselves to make sure we do not do that. And so ultimately, to bring it back to Ethereum, and we'll get into the controversy of Vitalik and what his response was to the market saying that he's selling or dumping ETH, or he's transferring ETH, or he's doing it to cover expenses for his girlfriend. We were making a joke. We said, girlfriends are expensive. So, but the truth though is that Vitalik actually said that he hasn't sold a single ETH since 2018, and a lot of the ETH that people are speculating that he's selling, he's sending it to other people for charity, for different organizations, and those people are selling the ETH because that's what they needed. They need to be able to cover whatever he's donating to. So if that's true, then that's legit. So we want to make sure we kind of squash that that FUD. And I think it's classic because as we're at this perfect time, we're at this pivotal time. We got the SEC just suing left and right, sending Wells notice. They now OpenSea has joined the club. Brian Armstrong made a joke and said, well, join the club. We got Kraken, we got Robinhood, we got everyone, everyone's is getting a little piece of the SEC scrutiny. And then we have people that are fudding ETH. They're saying Ethereum's dead. It's never going to hit all-time highs. It's slow bleed out. It's going to go to zero against Bitcoin. And so this is actually the perfect time to literally ignore everyone and buy. And just literally like ignore everyone and just easy buy. Like you could go into the top 20 and pick fundamental projects. Like you could go Phantom, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, even get some Caspa, get some Litecoin, get some Chainlink, Matic, literally be boring, get things that are even from the old cycle, and just DCA and hold and don't listen to anyone. You could do that and you would be successful. That is essentially what is sometimes the hardest thing to do, because especially if you're always in the markets and you're looking at stuff and there's always this new thing, and I know there's always new opportunities and airdrops, and that's great. It's good that there's competition. I think we talked about it on the Moon Show this morning with Mr. M, that it's good that there's competition. It's good that Ethereum exists. I don't want Ethereum to fail. Like I'm not going to want the success of Bitcoin at the demise of Ethereum and the rest of the crypto market. That's so dumb to have that type of mentality. And you can't, and honestly, I think it's just a bad way of going into investing, into diversifying into this market, and understanding that, hey, maybe even crypto gaming might be the biggest narrative that surprises everyone and outperforms all the utility tokens and all the different narratives that are out there. And gaming could be the one that literally just destroys them all and outpaces everything. Gaming. So we'll get to the article. Vitalik says he hasn't sold any ETH since 2018. When he said, regular reminder, if you see an article saying Vitalik sends X amount of ETH to exchange, it's not actually me selling. It's almost always me donating to some charity or nonprofit or other project, and the recipient selling because, well, they have to cover expenses. I haven't sold ETH for personal gain since 2018. While Buterin rarely comments on his personal transactions, that clarification comes after a large ETH transfers from his Ethereum wallet to centralized exchanges, nearly $4 million worth of Ethereum in September alone, were widely covered by news outlets. Founders cashing out their tokens is usually seen as a bearish signal, generally indicating a lack of confidence in their project's future prospects. And so, yeah, I think with that response and honestly, I think with some of the success of the layer 2s, and honestly, you know, if Ethereum is going to keep scaling and innovating and having the Ethereum virtual machine and all these different layer 2s that are, you know, piggybacking off of Ethereum's liquidity, then I mean, I think it's going to be successful. I think it has a good chance of hitting all-time highs, and I just wouldn't fade Ethereum, because you want Ethereum to succeed if you want, like, literally, like, the entire altcoin market to succeed, to be honest. It's kind of like almost how you want Pepe and Dogecoin to succeed just for the entire narrative of the meme space to succeed. You want one of these video game projects that are doing massive work to succeed, because then ultimately it makes the rest of the crypto gaming coins pump a little bit. So it's actually good to be neutrally bullish on most things and also neutrally bearish, just so you can weed out the sauce of what projects you actually want to invest in and what you think are going to be the strongest narratives. And just remember, guys, like these projects are like companies. They are like companies. It's like investing into a stock of a company, and then you have all these different types, all these check marks that you have to kind of check off the box if it's worth your time, worth your investment, and if it's something that is going to be worth using and that people are using it, and then the price reflects that. A lot of the time, the price doesn't reflect that. For instance, Cardano. You know, I mean, there's some bullish things with Cardano that's happening. You know, with the release of the Chang, it's the Chang hard fork, so it's in their roadmap now. Finally, that they have decentralized governance with the people that stake Cardano, hold Cardano. They have the opportunity now to have a voice in the direction of where the chain and the project goes. And so with this upgrade, it's you know, if you don't know what Cardano is, it's a layer 1 blockchain. It was launched in 2017. Charles Hoskinson is a co-founder of Ethereum. So Vitalik Buterin is also a co-founder, and also Gavin Wood of Polkadot. And so with the Chang upgrade now live, ADA token holders will be able to shape Cardano's future by electing governance representatives and voting on development proposals. So a lot of people, you know, they FUD on Cardano a lot. They say Cardano's dead. Even Ansem in the Thread Guy podcast was asked, what does he think is going to be a dying chain, or what's the dead chain? What are people going to just like not care about in this cycle? And his answer was that it's Cardano. He said Cardano's dead. Now, for me, I think that is a perfect metric to buy some Cardano. Right there. Right when someone as popular with the popularity of what Ansem has and the pool of his community and what he's involved with, and also being just obviously he's a Solana maxi in essence, so he's not going to say like, yeah, I think Solana's going to die. But it's interesting. I don't think Cardano's a dead chain. I think it's just they're trying to accomplish different things. Completely different things than what Solana's doing. Now, could you say that with the over spamming of the network of Solana, is it subject to attacks, spam attacks? It has been subject to spam attacks with the meme cycle. And will the liquidity dry up once the memes start to die and there's no liquidity coming back into the chain? Would people pivot out of Solana and go into something, say, like Cardano or other chains that have less volatility of the chain, quote, being spammed? This is a valid question. And because with people, I'm bullish on Solana as well. I'm bullish on Cardano. But when it comes to what you think is going to actually perform well price-wise and be worth holding into the next 10 years, is Cardano going to be more of a stable chain to hold and have liquidity on and earn staking rewards with a true proof-of-stake model? Is that going to be better to hold against Solana? That's the choice that you're going to have to make. But maybe you just don't have to make a choice. You just are diversified and you hold both. You just, you hold Solana, you hold Cardano, you hold Ethereum, and you hold a little bit of Polkadot, and surely you will over time learn and probably swap between the two. I mean, these ecosystems are going to grow like crazy, and the community and the people in crypto and also retail will show us what they're interested in. And to tell you the truth, guys, it's going to be something that you are not really expecting. You should expect it, but it's going to be the memes. It's going to be the memes, and this kind of proves it here. That in DGen News, Sunpump Sunpump.meme, which is the new token creation and launcher that has been launched on the Tron blockchain. If you're not familiar with Tron, it's very similar to Ethereum, and so this has flipped Pump.fun in 24-hour revenue in volume. And so this is starting to reveal a interesting narrative going into this bull run of especially new people coming into the space. Like, what are they going to get into if they have a limited amounts of money? They're probably less likely to buy the higher valued tokens. They're going to want to get into something, say, like the Tron ecosystem, and it could be a good early opportunity for new investors, and also to learn how to use blockchain and how to, download the wallets and add the networks and stuff like that, and be able to go into the platforms and start to check them out. So if you go to sunpump.meme, it'll show you by highest market cap what is trading at highest market cap right now, and what is gaining the most support. And right now it's Sundog, Tron Bull. We got Mooncat, Sun Wukong. I've been seeing this, and then what was the other one? And then we just have the Sun token, itself. And so I'd keep your eye on this. I would just keep, I'm not telling you to buy any of this stuff, but this is definitely an emerging ecosystem. And you got to remember that the Tron ecosystem, if you go to DeFi Llama and you look up the Tron chain, you go to chains and you look at these chains. Tron is number 2 in terms of total value locked. So it's got $8.5 billion locked. And it's pretty substantial. So I think what's happening here is we're gonna have a lot of these protocols, and also with this new, with Sunpump and Sunswap and all this stuff. There's going to be Sun. We have Sun here. First integrated platform for stablecoin swap, stake mining, and self-governance on Tron. Yeah, the Sun.io. Yep, Sun.io. Sunpump, Sunswap, Suncurve, the DAO. So this is something. I mean, look, you got all these different liquidity, yield farming. If you have any of these tokens, pair them up, and then you can yield farm. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities out here you guys can explore, get into. I'm probably going to here soon put a little bit of liquidity into a Tron wallet, and then we're going to go in to Sunpump, we're going to go into some of these tokens, and we're going to go into the ecosystem. We're going to go into maybe what we'll do is we'll actually put money into one of the lower, like degen market cap ones, like one of the ones that is super degen, super low, and then we'll put some into what is now maybe the most popular ones, and we'll see what happens between the two. We have people in the chat asking, can you send me $5,000? Well, someone for vaping clouds, someone please send him $5,000 of Tron, so then he can then turn that into millions with the Neutron ecosystem. All right, so this chart shows that the S&P 500 does well following a Fed rate cut, but unless there's a recession. So if we are indeed not in a recession, and we want people to spend more money, there's supposed to be more jobs out there, not as high unemployment rate. So then that means we are indeed not in a recession, and we're going to cut the rates. A recession could be defined as a sustained period of weak or negative growth in real GDP. COVID recession was the shortest. And then if you correlate that with how the Fed has pivoted, and during those times that they pivoted, we were in a period of recession, but this Fed pivot is going to be the one where we're not in a recession, so this pivot could be a catalyst for the indeed run that we want to see with all of the markets in general. And then I had a funny thought. I was thinking about, because we're going to pull up this funny tweet or this response. I guess George Clooney is getting backlash because of the comment that he compared Joe Biden to George Washington, of like such an honorable move to step down from the presidential run, like, and then comparing it to George Washington. And I thought to myself, how old were some of the founding fathers whenever the people that were involved with the Declaration of Independence and American Revolutionary War? Just, I mean, it's crazy. 18, 20, Alexander Hamilton 21, James Madison was 25, Thomas Jefferson was 33. And then I thought to myself, what were we doing when we were in our 18s and our early 20s? This is what I was doing. I was I was playing drums. I was playing drums. Did I share it? Yeah, I was doing this. This is what I was doing. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was touring and being a derelict. I wasn't meeting up with other distinguished gentlemen, making sure I was protecting everyone from the establishment and the system by creating a Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and all the things that we hold dear. No, I was touring. What were you doing at age 20 or 21? I wonder. But shout out to Broadway. Shout out to Broadway. This popped up in my feed and it took me down memory lane. This was our last show of the tour, and we were just beat to the ground. We were beat to the ground. We're all sick, and so we were pulling through. But if you're interested in watching this set, and going down memory lane. So 11 years ago. This was 11 years ago. So crazy. But yeah, that's what we were doing. That is what we were doing. But yeah, this clip of George Clooney is interesting. Let's watch it together.
The person who should be applauded is the president who did the most selfless thing that anybody's done since George Washington. And that's true. And so anybody, all the machinations that got us there, that's all, none of that's going to be remembered. And it shouldn't be. What should be remembered is the selfless act of someone who, you know, it's very hard to let go of power. You know, we know that. We've seen it, you know, all around the world. And for someone to say, I think there's a better way forward, that's all the credit goes to him. And that's really the truth. And all the rest of it will be long gone and forgotten. And so I'm just very proud of where we are in the state of the world right now, which I think many people are surprised by. And I think we're all very excited for the future. The person who should be applauded is the president who did the most selfless.
That's hilarious. I don't know. This is the thing, guys. You cannot let these celebrities, these rich, very, very rich celebrities who get paid to say these things, you cannot let them dictate what your perception is of reality. Like, it is so important for you to, like, make educated, like, observations of these people and have kind of a neutral bias and listen to what they say, then actually go and see who they donate to, who they get paid by, and who they hang out with. Why is George Clooney on a boat near a private island with Obama? Why is that happening? Why is his name on the Epstein flight list? Why are we going to literally listen to a movie star like George Clooney or Robert De Niro? It's really ridiculous, and it's the way that they use your childhood heroes and your stars, your heroes, the people that you believed in. Oh, I just really loved Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump or whatever, you know, just like all of this stuff. Then you go into this like they want to use these people to convince you that there's no system and deep state that's constantly trying to subvertively change your decision making to make you think and to fabricate this reality around you, make you feel like these things that they're telling you are true when indeed they're not. Just craziness. It's just like the MSM doesn't want you to see how bad Kamala Harris is when it comes to answering any questions, having any knowledge of like literally anything. She has no policy. You don't even know, but I'll tell you what her policy is. Guess what? Her policy is that she wants to tax you 25% on unrealized gains. Now, you'd say, okay, well, it says that it's only for people who make a certain amount. Well, guess what? When those people have to sell their stocks, well, guess what? Those people own 60% and 70% of those stocks that the retail normies are buying. And so guess what? Then they are going to be forced selling. They have to sell off their assets to then cover the 25% unrealized gains tax that they haven't even gotten the gains to begin with. So then it's going to create a sell pressure across all markets, and it'll wreck the middle class completely destroy it, absolutely decimate it. And so you have to understand, like, you are not paying attention when it comes to the media trying to portray this false fabricated reality with all this BS. They can't give you a solid actual working policy that benefits the American people. It's still just it's going to be the same crap that we've had for the past 4 years, but even worse. Like who would in their right mind would vote for a continuation of what we've had these past 4 years? It would blow my mind. It means some people really can't be helped. They can't be helped. They have Trump derangement syndrome is what it is. They literally do. And it's okay. You can't I don't know if you can unteach it or unlearn it or whatever, but it's called critical thinking. And you've let Trump derangement syndrome get in your brain and make you think that just orange man bad, so I need to believe everything that the system tells me. And we'll see how that pans out. But I'll tell you what, the past 4 years have been a direct example and result of terrible leadership. Absolute terrible leadership. We got wars going all around the damn world. We have inflation over the insane amount of government spending and just complete irresponsible spending. We have all of these chemicals that are banned in other countries, have been banned for the past 10 years in other countries, and we are making it widely available for our kids to be able to put this stuff on their body, so then they end up getting cancer and getting diseases and then end up using the terrible medical healthcare system that is run by the pharmaceutical industries. So you see the vicious cycle that the system and the freaking Democrats who fund this crap, what they've done. And they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that they care about the American people and care about your communities and your culture because Kamala likes rap music and knows how to talk about cooking her collard greens. Like, get the hell out of here with that BS. It's freaking BS. It's so crap. And people are so afraid to talk about it and speak their mind because they don't want to get canceled or they don't want to face scrutiny. And it's just like, or now it's even going as far as in the UK, literally people knocking on your door, quote, the police, to arrest you because you have a opinion on what is going wrong. And you are trying to voice that in your own community. It ain't looking too hot. And the moment you try and speak up, it's like you have these forces against you. So it's like that is just it should be a telling of what is happening now and what the obvious fight is right now. I will say though that Sam Price got me rolling when he posted this picture because I had to hit him with the neck guy. I had to hit him with the neck guy. He looks like he's trying to work out that neck, doing neck lifts. But shout out to Sam Price with the with the neck lifts. And then CryptoFace was he was like, if you have no freedom, you live a half life. I'm thankful for the freedom I do have where I can live a 3/4 life. We told CryptoFace, he hit that bowl hard and started playing Half-Life. We were listening to CryptoFace's live stream, and right when we tuned in, he was talking about playing Half-Life and hitting a bowl. And I said, man, that sounds pretty nice. Half-Life very ahead of its time and could be an odd future that our reality could end up in, where we have actually, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, if you know the story of Half-Life and what happened in Black Mesa, where they were doing these portal particle experiments and ended up ripping a time portal into Earth, and then a alien race basically ends up taking over and enslaving the human population into submissive control. And if you've played Half-Life or Half-Life 2, holy moly, that could actually be a reality that the powers that be have already have done. If you think about hints through Stranger Things and how there's these government, secret government projects and organizations that have been working on this stuff for a long time. Maybe they have already ripped a portal open or ripped a quote thing that has entered into our reality and into our dimension, and then this entity has taken over the minds of the people. It's taken over the minds of the people, quote, the leaders, and have been influencing all of this craziness that has been happening in our world. Now, that is a wild theory, but it kind of ties it all back into what we started the video on today. We'll play it right now.
This is the plan, people. These are demons. Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said. It's what they warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' human.
Oh, and someone in the comments says, can you please talk about crypto, please? We were talking about crypto. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. You don't realize that crypto is political. Crypto is part of the political system. Bitcoin was created out of the financial crash of our terrible system that we have. So it's oddly for freedom and freedom of speech, and there is a battle happening right now. And so just so you know, there is a battle happening and crypto is part of it. Crypto is ultimately part of that battle in this story. And so when it all ties in together, monetary policy and actually having wealth in your country is very important. And so when you start to talk about crypto, you start to talk about money, you start to talk about things like Brics, you start to talk about things of the dollar, it all starts to get kind of political because guess what? It's all being manipulated. And it's not like something you don't already know or should know. It's pretty blatant and obvious at this point. But yes, we'll talk about crypto. Basically, the point of this live stream and the point of the past couple weeks, past couple months is just to get you guys on the frame of mind of looking at the breakout points of where we are in the bull markets. And so right now, we actually have an interesting thing happening on the CME chart for the short term for Bitcoin. So if you want to look at the short term for Bitcoin, go to the 2 hour, go to the CME, and we basically formed a gap. We formed a gap up here. We formed a gap right here in between 61,008 and 6,000 or 60,400. So could price be going up to fill this gap in the short term? Now, if you're looking at the SMI, the RSI, and you're looking at the Bollinger Bands, we have crossed over the 20 SMA on the 2 hour, and we could trade up to the Bollinger Band. The top of the Bollinger Band right here is at 61,003. So we could get a short-term pump to fill the gap, but once we fill the gap, the next level that we're going to have to cross and break is the previous resistance right here where we hit at 65,000. So if we can't break that 65,000, then we will indeed trade down again. It's just going to be in this nasty range again, and this is a battle that we've been in with Bitcoin for a little bit now. We've just been in this sideways battle with Bitcoin, and it's going to take, I think, this rate cut, this inevitable rate cut in September. This month we are in September. It's September 2nd. The rate cuts are supposed to happen at one of these meetings coming up possibly like in the middle of September. September 17th, I think, was the date that was floating around. And so we'll have to see how that makes the markets react. And I think ultimately we need to just not be so zoomed in on these short-term like price action. We probably just need to be more zoomed out and look at some of the patterns that are forming on the long-term time frames, because we have a cup and handle pattern forming on the long-term time frame that the target is the breakout of $109,000 per Bitcoin, and that could indeed happen, I think, before Christmas time. And then we have $150,000 Bitcoin happening on the cup and handle pattern right here, at least 120,000, I think, right here in December and January. And then we have a possible pullback. And when we've had those parabolic runs like this, we've had a pullback of 30 to 40%. And so it could correlate to this particular tweet where we have a pump up to $108,000 Bitcoin. And then this is before the election. This is actually before the election. This is in October. And then Moonvember, we just start going, November, we just start, and you got to think the election is on November 5th. November 5th, we see what happens. The volatility, I mean, it's going to get high. It's going to get super high. And we could be, I think we're going to go to $150,000 per Bitcoin before the end of the year. That's been my call for a while. It's been my call for a couple months. I don't think it's too crazy to think that we could have a supply squeeze happen during that time. And I'm curious to see what happens. All right, the chat has just been sleeping. The chat's been so bad that we had someone in here begging for money. This is how bad the crypto markets are right now in terms of boredom, in terms of views, in terms of people interested. I got people in here asking for money. Oh, my Lord. What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Well, let's look at the overall market. Let's look at the overall market in terms of the altcoins. On the daily, they don't look too bad. On the weekly, look pretty bad. On the monthly, it looks kind of nasty. You know, like a lot of the altcoins are down on the month, like 27%. Pepe down 20%. Notcoin. You know, a lot of your meme coins are going to get hit hard when Bitcoin and Ethereum retrace even a measly 4 or 5%. It will make the altcoins get wrecked a little bit, but it gives us an opportunity to kind of see what actually recovers the quickest out of those dips. And so what we have seen now recovering the quickest is OURBIT. We have Uniswap. We got Sats. We have HNT. So a lot of the Bitcoin narratives are playing out. And also, you guys don't want to forget about, you know, things like Optimism and Arbitrum and the layer 2s that are operating with Ethereum, and to think about the coins that are being used by the most popular, biggest companies that are operating right now in terms of Coinbase. So if you're bullish on Coinbase, then like buying the Coinbase stock and maybe buying Optimism and Arbitrum are a safe bet to bet on Coinbase, because Coinbase doesn't have a token. And then you think, okay, let me go a layer down and look at things like Brett. And Brett is the top traded volumed meme coin as the mascot for the base chain. So then you could say, okay, like that could be a good speculative coin, and it's proven so with as high as what the market cap has gotten to, and just the support. Not even just to mention about the market cap, but just what they're actually doing in terms of their utility of what they're trying to accomplish inside their partnership deals, like whether it be with soccer teams, whether it be with racing, just massive promotional opportunities that Brett has been involved with. And they've also been building water wells in Africa. They have been successful at setting up, like, I think over 20 different wells in these villages that desperately need clean water and access to water. And so that's like mega bullish. So I think the fact that Brett's been doing that and a meme coin is using their resources and their popularity and their influence to help just everyday people, just people that really need these resources, and to help them do that, that's amazing. And so we also want to mention that Ponky has also been doing that, where they did a back to school giveaway. They've been donating a lot of money. And so I'm really bullish on the meme coins that are actually giving back to the community. They're keeping the narrative strong, and it's something that I think, you know, new investors will attach to and pick these things. Honestly, sometimes I believe over these, like, narrative token, these utility tokens, whether it be layer 1, layer 2s, DPIN, fundamental tokens, your tech tokens, whatever, the meme coins will end up surprising everyone, I think, in this cycle, especially with things like Pepe. You know, you get a Pepe Coinbase listing, it's going to be off to the races. It's going to be off to the races. And I don't know if you guys agree. Sen says it's a sleepy and rainy day here. I think it is, like, yeah, I think it's like, that's kind of been the energy through this weekend. Like, I basically, like, I felt useless. I was like, this weekend, I just felt absolutely useless. I just, everything was, if it felt like just like a fog, and I was just like, oh my God. I was super, super sleepy. The sleep schedule was all whacked out. And I just felt useless. And so I'm still trying to, like, come off of the uselessness and make something of myself and get this week started. Like, because this September actually has got, you know, I got a lot of work to do. Have a lot of things that I want to accomplish, and I want to get more money in this market, guys. I mean, oh my God, I'm sure you're feeling the same thing and feeling the same way, where you're like, I have got to get some more money into these markets before they just go parabolic. And right now is the perfect time to honestly start to think about what you're wanting to hold and DCA into this bull run, because you got to think, guys, we're for real. We're only 5 months into the cycle, into the bull market. The most action happens the last 6 months of the cycle. I've done the research now. I've looked at the coins. I've looked at the metrics. I've studied it. We've studied it together. The most action happens at the very end of the cycle. It doesn't happen in the middle. It doesn't happen towards the beginning, and then it just runs up real quick and then goes down the next 8 months. No, it literally, the most action happens towards the end of the last 6 months. So all you have to do is hold up until that point. But like I've said before, and like I've experienced in my own trading journey, where I was unable to hold through the roller coaster and through the volatility, and it is the thing that it's just like it is a thing that you have to do as a crypto investor, is to basically get wrecked through a cycle of something that you just weren't able to hold through. You weren't able to sell at the I don't want to say the right time, but a range of time. And I think now that we have studied this and we understand that with the halving cycle, the biggest moves happen and the biggest fear and shakeouts happen in between. That in-between point, the 6 month, 7 month, 8th month, it's like, it's like god awful. But once you can, like, get through that, break through that, and then get to the points of getting into the profit-taking range of that area where we've been talking about between December and I think honestly like April 2025 is where the range will be. And who knows? I mean, we might do some type of shorter retracement bear market and just start, like, Bitcoin just starts to run, just starts to go crazy. I mean, we will have to see. But no one truly knows. No one truly knows where the price is going, but we know that we've had previous rhyming patterns of bear and bull markets. And we have a really cool chart that helps us to analyze this alongside the U.S. presidential elections and know that the peak time is usually the last 4 to 6 months of that cycle. So, I don't know what else to talk about, man. Dogecoin, I think Dogecoin is a great metric of trend of when retail is interested in crypto. If you want to track Dogecoin on Google Trends, you just go to trends.google.com, type in Dogecoin, put in worldwide past 12 months. And this can kind of give you an interesting layout of where this year we've had the biggest spikes in interest in altcoins. Dogecoin is the altcoin metric of when retail is interested in crypto again. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate you. See how many people are watching across all platforms. Let's see, 17 people watching on x.com. We have 7 people watching on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know if there's anything else we want to cover on the stream. I think we covered most of the breaking news. Like, there's nothing else to really report. It is just, this is the time where people are so bored. It's even harder for crypto content people, influencers, to even try and keep consistent with this market because no one's watching. Like, I mean, if there's a channel that looks suspiciously like there's just like so much action going on, I would just like think twice, because no one gives a rip about crypto right now. I mean, it is very much like not in the sight of, quote, retail and what people are watching as their content to start learning about it. No, it is not happening. Like, the 7 people and there are the 20 something people that are watching this live stream right now. You guys have been in the markets. You're probably not new. You are probably hanging on for dear life, to be honest. And so with that, I actually applaud you for being here. We even said that on the Moon Show this morning. Like, we applaud everyone who is in the markets right now, still hanging on and not being fudded out, and actually riding the roller coasters to Valhalla, which will, I think, be in Q1 2025. Like I said, I could be absolutely 100% wrong, but I'm willing to bet on this. I'm willing to bet on this, and that's what I'm doing with the crypto markets, with these coins that we've talked about. We mentioned a few of them today on this live stream. And I hope you've got a little bit of value and some metrics and just some of the recent news and just the time trajectory of what you could start to think about taking profits on your investments. Don't get fudded out of Ethereum. Don't be a Bitcoin maxi. Don't be an ETH maxi. Don't be a full degen. Don't risk all of your portfolio. DCAing is actually the best strategy. It's been proven that it has outperformed trading, trying to buy back in and sell back at buy in and sell in at quote pumps and dumps, and it has been the tried and true strategy through almost any investing, but especially in the crypto markets, is that you DCA up until that period where we've shown you on the charts, and we've actually used Litecoin as the metric. Use Litecoin as the metric, and you go on the daily and you just look at when we've had altcoin seasons and the bull market. When Litecoin is over $250, that's a good metric to think that you could be taking some profits on your entire portfolio. Easy. Bull market, and look how short it is, and look how long the bear market ends up being until you start to get the parabolic price movements. Same thing. Look how long the bear market is, and then you start to get parabolic moves and price to the upside. And so, easy metric. You can literally just follow one coin. You could buy just 10 coins, follow one, wait till this one coin gets into a certain range, and then start to take profits. Easy. That's literally, like, I just gave you the easiest strategy in the entire world. You literally could just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, and then go down the list of holding 10 coins. Say it's 10 coins. Okay, there you go. You got your 3 coins. Then literally you could go down the top 100, top 200, and fill that list of the remaining 7 coins and literally do nothing. Sign off. Don't watch anything. Don't even watch my channel. And then you could literally just call it a day once Litecoin gets into between the range of $275, $250, and $300. Say I'm buying here, DCAing, and then in this range could be sweet to take some profits. But see, people don't like that. It's too easy. It's like they want it to be difficult and complicated. I've done that to myself. I'm like, oh, I want it to be difficult and complicated. Let me test out leverage trading. Let me test out day trading. Let me test out all these different mechanisms. And to be honest, I've done it now. And honestly, DCAing is ultimate. It's the GOAT. It's the thing that people that real influencers and real crypto KOLs should tell you is actually the way. It's not buying the next 100x. It's not buying the next like freaking pump and dump token. It's actually just buying the boring things like Matic and Chainlink and Litecoin and I mean, just like go down the list, AVAX and like Cardano, like all that. And you buy it in these ranges where everyone is telling you crypto's a scam and everyone's in fear. They're telling you Ethereum is dead. And you could get a 450% to 500% return on just Litecoin. Just Litecoin. But no influencer is going to tell you that. I'm telling you that because it's the truth. It's not the next whatever. It's not the whatever. Like it's just, look, you can easily just follow this strategy right here and you will outperform everyone. Simple. Okay, so someone's asking, explain how Litecoin works. Well, Litecoin works similar to Bitcoin. It is a proof of work blockchain. It has think of it as it is a lighter version of Bitcoin. I think the supply it might be smaller. Let me look at Litecoin in terms of the supply. Like Litecoin, I've used the Litecoin network. And basically, it operates just very similar to Bitcoin. The supply is 74. Yeah, okay. It's like circulating supply. Total supply is 84 million LTC. So there's actually more Litecoin than there is Bitcoin, because it's 21 million for Bitcoin. Litecoin has 84. So I'm not 100% on the full mechanisms of Litecoin. I just know it's a proof of work chain. And also what's interesting about Litecoin, what I'm trying to explain to everyone, is that it is a metric of the altcoin bull market where it's at its peak. Like, look, I mean, here's the bull market of the previous altcoin and bull market cycle of 2017 and 18, and look at where Litecoin was. Here's the bull market of 2021, and look at where Litecoin went. It's just an oscillating altcoin that you can track, and it's just, and also it's a good alternative for transactions whenever Bitcoin is congested. Like, Litecoin is a good alternative if you're wanting to move money around. So this is why I think Litecoin will probably always be around, and I think it's probably a better buy. It's like if you were to say, okay, well, what about XRP? I would 100% choose Litecoin over XRP in terms of as a altcoin pick for 100% Litecoin. I don't know. Put in the chat, guys. What do you think, XRP or Litecoin? I would 100% pick Litecoin. Shout out to Big Daddy Super Bowls Rothschild. I know if you go Big Daddy Super Bowls Rothschild, if you go back into the live stream, I basically was on like a conspiracy rant of how everything is manipulated and also connected, and that it's hard not to get like political with crypto, especially these days, because of what is at stake here. I'm sure you'll love it. Some people do not like it. Like, someone went in the chat was like, can you please talk about crypto? Talk about crypto. Crypto's so boring right now, I can't even almost talk about crypto in my own crypto live stream. And we didn't even, sometimes we're the worst. We didn't even say to like the stream or to share it with your friends or subscribe, or if you're new, please hit the like button. I really would appreciate it. It helps get this live stream out here, out in the ether, out to people that I think it would benefit them to watch different influencers and different streamers and different content creators, because you get a different perception, a different opinion, a different analysis from each person. And then through all of that, you start to form your own observations in the market, your own opinions based off, yes, the influence of us, but you don't just blindly believe everything we say. You go and you do your research. You you're like, okay, Dano, crypto, yeah, okay, yeah, Litecoin, yeah, okay, Litecoin, yeah, right. But then go to the chart and look at the chart. Study the chart. The chart doesn't lie. It's right here. It shows you. We are in accumulation fear mode 6 months before our parabolic move to the upside. And that should be your key metric into understanding the cycles a little bit better. And then you did it, and then that you came to that conclusion. Then you came to that conclusion. It wasn't me that helped you. It was yourself. You went into the chart, you saw it, you said, and then you have your aha moment. You go, oh, damn. And that's when you start to really have your and I think honestly, I think it takes 2 cycles. I think it takes 2 cycles to have your aha moment. Like, I'm currently in my second cycle because I came in kind of a little. I came in like relatively early and then really started to go in a little late and was kind of DCAing into the bull run. And in 2021, still stayed with it all through the bear market, all through the volatility. Felt like I wanted to quit, God, because it was just like I was like, oh my, was this really what I want to invest in? But then the more I started to do the research, the more I started to stick with it, and you go into that second cycle, you start to see those patterns. And you're like, oh, it just starts to click. It starts to finally click, and you get into that. You get into these coins again, these ranges again. You start to see that peak up, and then you start to see the retracement. And you start to see the bearish sentiment all over. Everything's crashing. It's dead again. Oh, it's all going to zero. And then you get right into that section that we talked about, that 3 month, 4 month section of the actual true bull run. It lasts only this long. It's very short. But the lead up to it is like, oh, it feels like forever. But then once we're there, it's a flash in the freaking pan, guys. It's a flash in the pan. So this is why these times right now are the most pivotal times, the most important times, where you should not be bored. You should be like freaking fired up to be like getting prices so cheap. Bitcoin is at 58,000. Ethereum is at 2,500. BNB is at $521. BNB was breaking all-time highs almost at $800, even through all of the FUD of the SEC and CZ going to jail. Solana has gone down 7 times, and it's still over $132. Dogecoin, it's 9 cents. It's under 10 cents right now. Like, what? These are the times. These are the times. And the fact that Pepe, I want to remind you guys that Pepe, out of the entire market, has the trading volume in the top 10 in terms of the 24-hour trading volume across the entire market, the whole market. Do you understand this? So out of the entire market, a frog meme coin called Pepe has the top 10 traded volume across the entire market. And you're going to tell me that memes aren't the top narrative of this bull cycle? Get out of here. Sam, that's a valid question. Sam said, "What do we do? What do you do when your portfolio is 80% down, dude? There's portfolios that are legit 100% down. Like legit. People bought at the tippy top. Some people bought at the tip of the top, and their portfolio there, especially if they were heavy into altcoins." Oh, they're way more than 8% down. They went to zero because altcoins got crushed in the bear market. And this is the thing. What you have to realize is that if you are 80% down, and we go into this bull run, into that 3 month little chunk period, well, you're probably either going to go up and you're going to break even. And you might actually even be up 30-40%. It depends on what you're holding. So I don't know what you're holding. So like if you're 80% down on an altcoin portfolio, and you know that once we start to get into break-even territory, you're going to be tempted to sell. Obviously, you're going to be like, well, I mean, I was at a massive loss and now I'm in break-even. I could get out now and save myself the humiliation and the trouble. But if you do believe that Bitcoin is going to be the money, and you believe that there will be another altcoin run that will surpass the all-time highs of the previous run, then you could start to kind of like hedge your bets a little bit and spread your portfolio out Now that you know what is good, what has stood the test of time, what actually might be worth holding because you have a portfolio that's down 80% or whatever it may be, then you can start to say, okay, well, maybe I was too risked, too spread out on altcoins and I didn't have enough Bitcoin. Or or vice versa. Maybe you had way too much Bitcoin and you didn't have any exposure on altcoins or whatever. Like, so I would say you have to kind of analyze your portfolio and start to, when we get into that area of the bull market, that 3-month period where it's like that's the most movements that we're going to have is at the end of the year cycle after the halving, the last 3-4 months. That's where we're going to have the craziest volatility to the upside is going to be at the very end of the last 6 months of the cycle. And the cycle that I'm talking about is the halving cycle. So if you just start to think about how your portfolio is accumulated, I have my portfolio like where I want to be. I want to have primarily like 50% to 60% of my portfolio into Bitcoin. And then everything else is going to be your layer 2s, your meme plays and things like that, layer 2s, layer 1s, the gaming tokens, the real world assets, just like, but I'm keeping the list fairly short. I mean, I'm only invested in, 15 coins. This is including the meme coins. This is including all the, the top narratives. And so I think with that mentality, could perform very well. And I know a lot of people do have portfolios that are down substantially. And we did have some opportunities in March, January, February, March of this year where those altcoins maybe that you were down on was a good opportunity to maybe scoop a little profits off the top, but you don't sell the whole thing. But who knows? I mean, it all depends on when you bought. But guys, just the fact that something like Pepe literally has the top 10 traded volume across the entire market, that blows my mind. That blows my mind. I don't know how that doesn't get you bullish on Pepe being listed on Coinbase and actually being one of the top traded coins in the entire market. Like literally, like in the entire market, Pepe is about to surpass like these huge market cap projects like Chainlink, SHIB, AVAX, Cardano. I mean, at a point where Pepe is literally in the top 10 with Dogecoin, getting close to surpassing Shiba Inu, this is starting to reveal something very, very interesting in my mind. Is that you don't want to necessarily be the smartest person in the room. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're going to tell everyone that you need to buy all the fundamental coins and really pay attention to Aptos and really, you really got to, don't forget about Stellar Lumens. But then really, if you're just the funny guy that says, oh, I put $10,000 into Pepe, that's funny, I think we'll see what happens with that, that ends up outperforming every single thing that the smart guys are telling you to buy. Now, that would be hilarious. But it actually might be the narrative play, and we'll see. But the trading volume doesn't lie. The trading volume doesn't lie, and the on-chain holders don't lie. The on-chain metrics do not lie, and that is why we're going to stop rhyming right now. Oh, man. Pretty bad. But, guys, you got to just don't worry. Don't worry. Don't get fudded out of the markets. Don't get fudded out of the bags. Crypto's boring, but it is totally meant to be at this point of the markets because it is where the most carnage and where a lot of people get defeated and they don't keep going. They stop and they give up. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going, my friends. All right. Well, with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the live stream today. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed the show today. If you want to support the channel in any way, I have links in the description. If you guys want to test out all the exchanges that I like to use, you can directly support the channel by doing so. We would really appreciate it. All right, with that being said, we'll see you later. We'll see you later today. See you later today on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream. We hope you have a good rest of the day.